Guys, we talked about at halftime, you mentioned, where's Lukaku? Where's Lukaku? He comes on and makes an instant impact in terms of being in the positions that Belgium were sort of crying out for. How do you think the game changed when he came on, Troy?
Night and day. They just looked like they had an attacking threat. They had somebody that was willing to crash the box. Again, what is he on pitch? 5 seconds, 6 seconds? Ball goes out the right-hand side. And then what it does, what people don't understand is when you've got a striker who's willing to crash the box, it makes everybody else's job so much easier. The wide players go, OK, just put it in there. And that's all that happened. It wasn't a, well-crafted goal, 15 different passes, like a Spain would have to do, Nigel. It was more little clip down the side, the right back's in there, and he just puts it into a great area. Knows Lukaku's going to be in there. Just the physical presence of Rom was able to get that goal in, and it felt like they were going to win from that moment on. What I would say is, as well, for all of that moment of it being great, and what was he on, 30 minutes? It felt like, is he going to get injured? He looked heavy. He looked like he hasn't played in a year. So Belgium need to be really careful getting him in and just the minutes he can have. But clearly, when Romelu Lukaku is fit and available, he's their best player. Yeah, they definitely need to be careful in how they manage him. But the reality of it is they need him. Instinctively, like Choice, 5, 6 seconds. And it's an instinct thing. When you have a traditional number 9, and when you see the goal again, the ball goes out wide. All he does is a straight run. Mm-hmm. It's not a well-crafted run. It's not a bendy run to stay onside. It's literally the ball's out wide, straight run. And it's because of the presence of him being in the box. And because he's such a big specimen of a human being, the 2 Egyptian defenders are trying to fight against him because they don't want him to get a touch. And that's what leads to the goal. But it's an instinctive element of it, being a striker, knowing to straight away go. CDK's a good player. But he's not like a Lukaku. He's not a traditional number 9. He won't know instinctively to make that run, to go and cause that chaos by making a straight run. And that's what it is. And they need him. They're a different team with him. They're winning headers. You could see that the panic he causes, regardless of who they're playing against, he will cause panic against any back line because you can't leave him one-on-one with most defenders in world football. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem that he can cause. And it's always a big positive for Belgium. But again, like Troy said, he doesn't look sharp, doesn't look match fit, like fully there. And you don't want to force a player that's not fully back to fitness levels that he needs to be because you can lose him for a longer period of time. But look how everyone else around him got better. As soon as he came onto the pitch, started seeing Kevin De Bruyne more, started seeing more chances. Doku was getting into the game. Because when you have a focal point that occupies at least the 2 centre-backs, it makes them have to drop. And now the rest of the pitch opens up. The fullback says, oh, wait there, do I go 1v1 with Doku? Probably not. So then there's indecision and people are starting to think, OK, where am I supposed to be? Should we sit in? Do we go aggressively for the Egypt point of view? But when you look at it for Belgium, I just think whatever they've got to do between now and the next game to get 45 out of him, they have to do that. Like, I know now it's all data scientists with the iPads and they're saying this, but it's like, hey, how do you feel? OK, we don't want to get you outside too much on the grass because that's where injuries can come, but do we blast him in the swimming pool? Do we get him on the bike? It's things that he can lose the weight. Because, again, I was a heavy player like Lukaku as well. When you've been out for so long, it normally takes you 5, 6 games to get fit. For him, 5, 6 games could mean they're going home. Or they're at the later stages of the World Cup and they need him to be at his best. So you've got to do as much work as you can that's non-injury, non-load-bearing, but get him shifting that weight as quickly as possible.
But on the rest of the team, obviously, when he comes into the game, he provides that moment. But I still think the expectation would have been from this game for Belgium that they would win the game, that they would win this group. What did you guys feel was lacking in the Belgian performance beyond that sort of centre-forward presence?
I think for me, still, even just the application. The application, the urgency wasn't quite there. It was, again, it's another nation that we've seen. We could use the same word of just laboured, moving the ball too slow, not moving quick enough, don't look sharp. And again, I don't want to feel like I'm being overcritical on the players because it's not fair, because a lot of these players have had long domestic seasons and there's different things that you have to take into consideration.
It's a World Cup. It's a World Cup.
It is a World Cup, but they've had a long season coming into it, and some players have had injuries. You look at Kevin De Bruyne. He hasn't had a consistent, really good season for entirety at Napoli. He's had to do with a lot. And then you talk about it as a start when he criticised his manager of what he's been through. And he's come to World Cup and he doesn't look like the Kevin De Bruyne that we've seen before.
Yeah,
So there is a lot of... I'll probably say for me, the word I'll use is there's a lack of chemistry between the team that I've seen from all of them. Troy brought a great point up. Onana and Tielemans played together with Aston Villa. They won the Europa League. They should know each other inside out.
Yeah.
And they look like they just started to play together for the first time for the national team. So the way that they connect, they should have been able to connect as a midfield pair, especially playing midfield myself, where you should still dominate. Forget all the other pieces around you, because you have good quality around you, but they didn't look like they were connecting as a pair. So I think there was, for me, I look at that team and see there's chemistry issues today.
Yeah, I think as well, just glaringly obvious is the attacking line. It's so unbalanced and quite individual at times. When I look at 15 shots, only 3 on target. I know Kevin De Bruyne hits the post, that doesn't get classed as a shot on target, but you know, other than a bit of magic from Kevin De Bruyne from a free kick, it's an own goal that they scored from.
Yeah.
We're not sitting here going, how did Doku miss that chance? How did Trossard miss it? We're sitting here going, how do they create these chances? Are they in the right places? So a lot of work for me for the manager to figure out the chemistry of that front three, and then also, as Nigel says, that chemistry as a team. It feels like a lot of talented individuals. And the weird thing about it is we showed the teams from before, the great teams, the 2018 teams. I don't understand when you've had that great talent, probably fallen short where people think you should have won a World Cup, and now you have lesser talent, how you can't then tap into it and go, the reason we didn't win with this team is because it was so individual, so many great players. We need to be a team. And it seems to be doing the same model with lesser players and then expecting a different result. To me, that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, they've never really been able to figure out that sort of overall team element for it to all come together as a group of players rather than just a bunch of individuals. You mentioned the performances in midfield of Amadou, Onana, and Youri Tielemans. Here are the performances that they put in the center of the park. And you can see it is Tielemans who has the majority of the possession. He does start the move that eventually leads to the goal. He plays in Mounier on that right side. But what did you feel, just in terms of, if you're saying they're not controlling the midfield, despite the fact they played together week in, week out at club level, what did they not do in your mind?
Dictate the play. And when you play in centre midfield, when I talk about dictating the plays, it's controlling the game from the middle of the pitch in the sense of, we could say, all right, Belgium had a large amount of possession in the sense of they were making Egypt run around. It was just too open, too many turnovers. And when you look at it, it's just, for me, those stats don't really read too well. And Tielemans did have the better game, you would have to say. But sometimes these stats can be skewed, because when you look in midfield as well, Troy will know this as well, sometimes we see some of these midfielders have great stats. Oh, he's got 95% pass completion, 99%. But are your passes affecting the game? Are you trying to play forward or just playing it safe backwards and sideways? That's why I say, in moments like this, trust your eyes. Watch the game to see how they influence the game. And I felt, for me, that there was too many turnovers, too many second balls that they lost in that midfield area. Not enough at times saying, all right, let's move it from side to side, and then bang, let's play that pass forward. And once it goes forward, we squeeze up, and then once they try and clear it, we win it again, and we recycle the play. That's dictating the play from a midfield perspective.
It's suffocating pressure, right? The midfield you can keep the ball, like, let's say me and Nigel are both playing as 2-6s, we can keep it here. Doesn't do anything. But to Nigel's point, Tielemans had 14 turnovers. He is normally the guy who's trying to play through the lines, but he normally doesn't give it away. But he is normally the one who's trying to play those passes through the lines where you go, OK, maybe he's going to give the ball away 4, 5, 6 times a game because he's trying to penetrate the other line. For me, Onana, when he's at his best with Aston Villa and at Everton before that, big 6-foot-plus centre midfielder, runs over the game, he jumps off the pitch, off the page, like, whoa, who is that? This big guy dominating, carrying the ball forward. Today, if he watches his game back and he gets the clips tonight, nothing happened. He didn't do anything. He didn't win tackles. He didn't crash over. He didn't run over anybody. Granted, you can have a poor day with the ball at your feet. That happens to every footballer. But you need to impact the game, and unfortunately for Onana, he didn't do that.
Toby, what were your impressions from the opening performance from Belgium of this World Cup?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed, of course. I think we were very confident to start this game, but I think Egypt was there. The intensity was a much higher level than Belgium. They couldn't find the spaces, couldn't find their rhythm. And I think at the end was a good reaction in the second half. But I think if Egypt was a little bit more clinical, we could have lost the game as well. So I think a lot of questions to be asked for the Belgian manager.
Toby, someone that's worn the national shirt yourself, you know the responsibility that comes with representing Belgium. What worries you most from the squad and the performance that you've seen today looking ahead?
I think for me was the performance of Onana. I didn't like it. I think he's the best in his position when he does the tackles, when he puts his body on the line, and then he just needs to get the ball and deliver it to De Bruyne and stuff. But I think now, because it's a World Cup, he feels the pressure. I need to be doing more than usual. And then you see the team is struggling. When Raskin was coming in, it did it more. It played forward, easier, and you see the team was a lot better after Onana went off.
Yeah, I agree with that, Toby, as well. The other thing for me is when Big Rom came on, obviously we know he's been dealing with injuries, but having a striker who is right through the middle of the pitch, you saw 6 seconds in, he just crashes the 6-yard box. How important is it for you guys to get him fit, but also be careful as well, not to use him too much? He hasn't played in the last year, has he?
Yeah, it's crucial. Like you said, first to get him fit, because now he got 25 minutes, something like this. That's good, but maybe in the next game we need more of him, and then it's going to be a little bit a big risk because he's not match fit, you know. And then other players need to step up. Everyone expects a lot of Doku, but he was disappointed as well. Second half was better when he's playing a little bit more in the central role. But I think we need Romelu, but the next game it can't start. Maybe next game 45 minutes. We have to keep, like I said, not too much risk. Otherwise, it's gonna be if you lose him, I think it's finished.
Yeah, Toby, again, you're saying more or less everything that I was saying just before you came in. So it's great that we're on the same wavelength in that regard. Looking ahead to the front line, you played, again, to that 2018 team. We did a little segment on that earlier, but all the talent that you had, and obviously, for some reason, it just didn't click. When I look at this team, it looks a bit disjointed. It looked like Trossard and Doku both want to play on the left, so one has to play on the right. It looks like there's no real natural striker unless Lukaku's there. How do the team figure it out? And obviously, with your experience, in a World Cup now, with the games coming so quick and so fast, how difficult is it to implement new styles in that short amount of time?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But like you said, Trossard had a wonderful season, but his quality is on the left. Doku, his quality is on the left. He played some games on the right, but then he said, I don't want to play on the right. I want to play on the left. So that's not nice. And of course, like you said, you need a good striker. So maybe we have some other players that can play on the right. Luka Bacchio is playing very well for Belgium. So maybe bring him in because something needs to happen, you know, because if you go the same way like we did today, it's not going to happen. And the most important is to get to the next round so Romelu can get fit, can get minutes, and gets more time to be match fit because we need him. And especially Doku, when he's on fire, that's world class. And we have to get him on the right level as well.
Toby, you said something about Amadou Onana as it relates to it being a different stage. The World Cup is a different thing, and maybe it affects the players mentally in different ways. Can you just give us some insight into what that is as a player to step onto this stage and how it is different than, I mean, these guys play week in, week out in the Premier League. Amadou Onana won the Europa League. How is this different than what they've experienced?
Yeah, but this is different because, you know, the build-up to a World Cup is big. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone wants to be the main man. And I think the quality in 2018, what we had in our team, was like everyone knew their role. And especially I'm going to talk about myself as well. I was not a big main man. I was a soldier, and you need to know this. And if the team know this, then you get the best out of it. So Onana, the best in his position when he's keeping things simple, when he's doing what he can do, and not like touching the ball too many times, want to play difficult passes and stuff like this. So again, everyone needs to know what their quality is and stick with the plan, and not want to be the big guy all the time.
Toby, it's great that you say that because I think watching that game as well, I used it as a reference to say for me that I felt that there's chemistry issues in this Belgium side. Would you feel that that's a fair comment to say after watching that performance that the chemistry just isn't right collectively as a team? Yeah, that's not signals that I get because I hear from the Belgian squad that the bonding is very high. It's never been so good as now. The atmosphere is good. So the only thing is I think
we didn't have the best qualification round. We won 2 games before against Croatia and against Tunisia. It gave us a feeling like, oh, we can do something special. But today it's like 2 feet back on the ground, easy, work hard, and things needs to change, and people needs to get their level up to if we want to do something special this World Cup.
Toby, what would be a respectable expectation for Belgium from back home, the Belgian fans, and what they expect from this squad, how far to go in this World Cup?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. It depends. If you get place 1 in this group, you get the easier drawing after. But they say like if you get to the quarterfinal, everyone in Belgium will be happy. So I think about quarterfinal, something like this. And again, if everyone is on their level and maybe a little bit above, we can beat any country. But today showed as well, if you're not on the level and not going the tactics are not 100% right, you can lose against any team as well.
And if that was to fall short, would the manager be under pressure, Toby? Again, don't want to put managers under pressure while they're doing their job now, but it does feel like there's a lot of pressure around him, right?
Yeah. A lot of questions going to be asked now. Again, does in the next game Onana needs to stay? Even the fullbacks weren't that good. What are you going to do with Doku? He's going to play on the left or more in the middle. What are you going to do with Trossard? Because he's playing on the right. It's not his best position. So a lot of questions going to be asked. So I'm really looking forward to what he's going to say. And he's going to stick with the same team or going to change a lot.
Hey, Toby, finally as well, retired now. You look in good shape, huh? What's the secret? Spurs need you back.
The secret is keep going to the gym, you know, and sometimes watch what you eat. But I love to eat, my friend. So
Hey,
sometimes
me and you both, big man. Me and you both.
At least you go to the gym, Toby. You need to take him under your wing. Take him with you.
Yeah, I will.